Hi, my name is Priya Kavya.
My name is Gunja.
My name is Joe.
And our presentation is discussing morphine and the role it plays in evolutionary medicine.
So we decided to focus our topic on morphine because it has been becoming even more popular over the years, and we want to look at how it has plays a role in the body and the adverse side effects it has. And as you can see on the slide, over the years from 2002 to 2015, the number of deaths involving opioid drugs has been increasing, and it's been the highest in 2015. And also there has been a lot of money being spent on morphine. Almost $500 billion has been spent on morphine addiction, and this includes healthcare costs, crime and criminal justice costs, and accidents and lost employment. So morphine is an analgesic opioid, which means that it's a pain relief medication, and it's one of the strongest ones on the market. And it has three main uses. It can be used to relieve pain in any part of the body. It can also be used as a general anesthetic and also as a cough suppressant if the cough is critical. So morphine has a chemical formula of C17H19NO3, and as you can see here, there are 5 rings and 0 rotatable bonds, and it has a molecular weight of 285 grams per mole.
So now we're going to be discussing the history behind morphine and its discovery. So the rise and discovery of morphine. Early on in the 19th century, opium addiction emerged in China as a result of trade imbalances between Britain and China. And so, once morphine had been introduced into America, Friedrich Wilhelm Sertner had isolated a crystalline compound from crude opium after immersing it in ammoniated hot water. And after testing multiple various dosages on himself, he found that smaller doses correlated with symptoms and signs of relief and pain and euphoria. And so, as a result, he decided to name this compound morphine, coming from the Greek god of dreams Morpheus. In addition, the popularity and growth of morphine spread quickly across America, and so there was a need in the country for more regulations and policies addressing it. And so as a result, in 1853, the first hypodermic needle was created in order to help effectively administer the drug directly into the bloodstream. In addition, this became very prevalent overseas, especially because this was a very war time. And so as a result, the term soldier's disease was coined as a result of soldiers who became highly addicted to the morphine because it created high senses of pain relief. And as well as that, in the early 20th century, governments worldwide began to pass more and more regulations in regards to the dosage, and they began to ban morphine as well. And in specific, in 1914, the Harrison Narcotics Act was enacted, which specifically restricted morphine abuse. Social implications of morphine. So now we're going to be discussing a little bit of the pre-morphine and post-morphine social complications. And so before morphine, there wasn't any prevalent drug abuse because it just wasn't that popular on the market. And in addition, there weren't any effective pain relief medications, which were especially travel friendly, like its use overseas. And in addition, there wasn't any prominent pain relief medications on the market that morphine would be a competitor for. And so as a result, after morphine's introduction, there became a very prevalent drug abuse across the country. However, this item was very valuable during the wartime, especially for soldiers and other people who were suffering with extreme pain. And in addition, as a result of all the usage and abuse of it, governments began to enact new policies in order to control the amount of usage. And so overall, we could say that there have been quite positive long-term implications from morphine.
So now we're going to be talking a little bit about how morphine is actually administered in the body and how it works and how it soothes pain. So opioid receptors are located in the brain and on the spinal cord, and there are 3 kinds: mu, delta, and kappa. And I don't know if you can see the picture that well, but here is where all of the morphine receptors are located in the body, which is pretty much all throughout the central nervous system. So a chain of chemical signals is set off when morphine comes in contact with the receptors that are located on the brain and the spinal cord. And what happens is it causes the pain-sensing neurons to stop firing any impulses, so you stop feeling pain. When morphine acts on the nerves in the spinal cord, there will be no complications usually, but when it acts on the receptors in the brain, it can result in death if you overdose. And this is because the pain-sensing neurons that I mentioned earlier in the brain are also correlated with the nerve pathways that involve breathing. So if you were to overdose on morphine, it would also cause respiratory arrest. And here are some of the biological side effects of morphine that we covered before, like the gradual shutdown of the respiratory system. It also affects your behavior. You have a hard time paying attention, you have poor performance, body responses, a slower heartbeat, you have a slowed reaction time when it comes to responding to stimuli. So the administration and processing, so to focus a little bit on the ways that we administer morphine. So orally with tablets, suppositories, or gel-coated tablets. Intravenously using a needle, which is the fastest way to actually feel the effects of the drug. Subcutaneous injection, which is right under the skin. You could also get it as an epidural anesthesia, or in recreational uses, not in the medical field, it could be inhaled or snorted in powder form.
So now we're going to talk about how morphine breaks down in the body. So once it's in the bloodstream, it's transported to the liver, and most of it's broken down in the liver. This is known as first pass metabolism, and because of this, only 40 to 50% of morphine actually reaches the central nervous system. And in the next slide, you can see that this is a picture of morphine breaking down into the different components, and this is in the liver cell. And in the end, after the whole cycle occurs, it's eliminated via bile. So 90% of morphine is excreted within the first 24 hours of when it's consumed, and it has a half-life elimination of 120 minutes, which means that it reduces by half of its amount every 120 minutes. And since the drug is stored in fat cells, it can also be detected after a very long time, even when the person has died.
As far as dosages goes, morphine sulfate may be injected intramuscularly in doses of 100 to 150 micrograms per kilogram of body mass, and this is known to be for every 2 hours as required. In addition, dosage may be altered due to duration of the surgery as well as severity of the pain. And as far as specific populations go, specifically for elderly people, the dosage is recommended to be much lower because their bodies process this at a much slower rate. And in addition, pregnant women are not advised to consume morphine during their pregnancy because this may lead to detrimental respiratory problems for the fetus, as well as the fetus exhibiting withdrawal symptoms as well.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the controversies that surround morphine. So morphine is a Class A drug, which means doctors must be authorized to prescribe it. And there's a growing debate over whether morphine should be prescribed to patients or if it should be pretty much banned from the medical field completely. So people that are for legalization and want morphine to stay in the medical field have said that illegalizing morphine would be economically damaging. This is because now people are going to be getting morphine from, on-the-side dealers instead of authorized businesses to sell it, which takes money out of the economy because these businesses that are selling morphine could be putting the money back into somewhere where it would be more useful. Also, illegal trading of morphine can cause lower quality, which may result in an increased number of deaths. This is because when the morphine is not being regulated, anybody can really cut it with whatever they want, and there's no way that anybody would know. And some people believe that it is morally wrong to punish opioid abusers because they're harming themselves and only themselves. Now, some things that people that are against the legalization would say and want morphine to basically be banned from the medical field say that when morphine was first legalized in the 19th century, there was a quick rise in the amount of people who were addicted to it. In addition, having harsh penalties on the use of opioids is targeted to help find the dealers, because if you get caught with morphine and are taken in, you can be interrogated and they could find the source and stop the morphine at the source. In addition, like we mentioned in the introduction, statistics show that opioid abuse and opioid addiction cost Americans $484 billion annually, and this comes from healthcare costs, loss of wages, abuses to the healthcare system, crime, and criminal justice costs.
So many people who are addicted to morphine generally tend to become addicted to it following a surgery. And if morphine is not taken for medical reasons, excessive usage and doses can cause the abuse of the drug. If it's stopped very quickly, there can be withdrawal symptoms such as nausea, insomnia, and cramps. And also, people who are addicted to morphine are more likely to spend money on it to ensure that they have access to the drug, and this makes it more likely that in the future generations this drug is going to be more prevalent.
Okay, so how is this related to our chemistry class? The commercially available forms of morphine are the morphine salts, such as morphine hydrochloride or morphine sulfate, and these are actually 300 times more water soluble than the parent molecule, morphine itself. In addition, they're a lot more acidic, the salts, with a pH of 5 compared to a saturated morphine hydrate solution, which has a pH of 8.5. So to actually put the salt, get the morphine into your body, there has to be a neutralization reaction that occurs. So the salts are neutralized with small amounts of sodium hydroxide, the salt being the acid and the base being the sodium hydroxide, and so this is the chemical equation, and the products end up being sodium sulfate, morphine itself, and H2O.
So in conclusion, morphine possesses such a vital role in the age of medicine, specifically in the fields of pain management and relief. And so furthermore, we have found that the lifetime social impact and implications of morphine is quite positive as a result of its great value towards pain relief. Now, although it did initiate a lot of drug abuse and problems, specifically with soldiers and other susceptible problems, we do believe that it has a lot of great hope to be such a great thing in the future. And so in the future, we hope that it is better regulated by the government and it's more accessible to those who truly need it.